pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes of November 20th, 2023.
Make motion to approve.
Commissioner Robbins,
Second.
Commissioner Hatch. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Nothing under awards or proclamations. No public hearings. No bid openings. We do have visitors and delegation, and we have Board Chairman Dennis Olson here to give us a little bit of an update on what's happening at the airport. If you would come to the podium, Dennis, and identify yourself, please, for the.
Dennis Olson, Chairperson of the Airport Authority Board. I'm basically going to be asked some questions, but what I do have is a little report on how our flights have been. We are so close to hitting our first threshold. If we get 672 passengers this month, we will hit it. And what that means is instead of $150,000 a year, we'll be getting $650,000 a year that we can apply toward projects. The last 9 months have been all-time records for Devils Lake Airport. It's like if you start to build it, they will come. And that's what's happening. We started advertising with a company out of Fargo. And since we've done that every month, we've set a record since then. And it's digital advertising. So if you see us on Facebook or you see us on the web or something like that, that's where it's coming from. And initially we started in the 70-mile radius, reached out to 90 miles now. So right on the outskirts of Grand Forks. That's been very good for us. Anything on the boardings?
Can you
Okay, let's
tell,
go.
can you see in advance what the month of December is looking like? Can you see?
They do have bookings, but we're not really privy to that information. We have a guy that's working part-time SkyWest, part-time airport right now, and he says the numbers are really looking good. And you can tell by the boardings. We don't always deplane, but we enplane a lot every day. It's just been amazing. Our parking lot's full all the time, which is a great thing to see.
They said nationwide, Thanksgiving was one of the busiest holidays ever. And I'm wondering if Christmas was going to be.
I'm hoping Christmas is the same. We actually had to have a third plane come in one day. SkyWest is really good about if there's a huge demand, they will take care of it. Even with the pilot shortage they're fighting with. And that hasn't changed. Our times of our flights haven't changed because of the pilot shortage. They try to get their planes in and out in an 8-hour span so they don't have issues with logging out. Hopefully, it's not the best time for us to have a morning flight because by that time, usually a lot of the other airlines have taken off on there. So for a hub like us to hit Denver, we need to hit it early in the morning. But even so, our numbers from the morning flight have been really good too. So that bodes well for us down the road.
Is there still talk about the Minneapolis flight possibly? Or has that been
That's
kind of
only
quiet,
if-
or?
Here's what's happening there. Because of the federal DOT being very slow in trying to solve the situation we have with the pilots, and they're getting pressured by the pilots union too, which is huge. That's really not on the table right now. What's happening is every month, the federal government, the federal DOT, who is in control of the FAA, has to put in a 30-day hold order for that airport. And what that means is SkyWest has to keep serving us, even though their contract expired over a year ago. So what they're doing is they're paying them at a slightly higher rate because of the inflation, but SkyWest seems to be okay with it because they haven't contacted us on the going to a 135 charter in some time now. And that, as far as I know, that's still on the table, but it's kind of on the back burner right now. So that's where that is
I
at.
know there's some interest in it from the community.
There is,
that-
because what they were looking at doing is Devils Lake would have its own destination to Denver. We would not be in a loop with Jamestown. Jamestown would have their own loop to Denver. They would not have to come through Devils Lake either. The downside of that is they would have to take 20 seats out of the CRJ 500s, which would be 700s, I'm sorry, which would be 30 seats in that plane. Well, we're booking more than 30 people on several days now.
Are we
all the
doing
time.
more than Jamestown?
Here's the deal. Jamestown was way leaps and bounds ahead of us. Their ridership has gone down a little bit. Ours has gone up this month. Last month we were up 19%. and we've been above ever since February.
No
So
reason
we're-
to see
we're
it
gaining.
slow
We're-
down either.
We're gaining, ours aren't going down, ours are going up. They're kind of holding steady, but I don't think what we're getting is we're getting a lot of bleed over from Grand Forks, especially when UND plays out in Denver, planes are full. And I think Jamestown does the same thing with Fargo, but probably not to the degree that we get, so. And we have a lot of Colorado students going to school at UND that drive to Devils Lake to fly home because it's a direct flight. You know, they don't have to sit in an airport someplace for a few hours. So that works at our advantage. And also the National Guard, their numbers are staying pretty steady. They're actually going to gain some again next summer. Some of the regular Army bases have stopped to do some of the training, and Devils Lake still offers it. So we'll be training National Guard and regular Army more and more all the time. The BIA has a school out there now that people are flying into Devils Lake for that. It's just been a bonus for us right down the road. And Spencer wanted me to talk a little about the finance.
Oh,
Nope.
that's later on the agenda.
Well, I got to stick around for.
Well,
We
You can
No,
amend the
I just want to bring this up. We've been dealing with the regional office in Bismarck, and they haven't stepped through this a whole bunch. We're probably the only one that they service that got a CARES grant like we got. So they're being very careful on how they process. We send in a couple outlays for payment. A couple of them they've come back. A couple of small ones have been paid, but the bigger ones have been coming back for a little correction here or there. And what happened, we sent one in July for 1.3 million. It was sent back, and now our engineering firm is working on adding another 2 million to that. So our next outlay will be 3.3 million, but I can't guarantee that will be before the first of the year. They seem to go slow. The guy that we're dealing with basically, and you only deal with one person. So he's been on vacation for a couple of weeks. He just went back to the office today. So maybe in the next couple of days, we'll have some information on that. We're looking for help. We just had a young man from Grand Forks who is ARFOP certified at Grand Forks Airport. Come and look at our operation today. Spent about 2 hours with him going over everything. He's got some decisions to make because he's young. He's not married yet, but he has all his friends and everything are in Grand Forks. So it's going to be a major challenge for him to rise to the occasion. He liked what he saw. I liked he was very, very well educated. He's got a degree in aviation management, besides being ARF ops certified. So it'd be a plus for us. But
Is he a pilot? He could just fly back and
he's
forth.
not a pilot.
Oh.
He works on the ops and ARF side. He's certified. So he could walk right into our airport and go to work once he got a little training on the truck. He knows how to issue the NOTAMs. He knows how to do runway conditions and everything. And that's what's holding us back with working with the fire department. That's something we have to look at going down the road. Are there any questions? I'll give you the information I have.
I would just say as far as the financing piece, it's clear and obvious. It's not that when we talk about it later, Dennis is here. It's not an airport issue. It's just a bureaucracy
So you
problem.
don't,
And what we'll talk about is how the city needs to address it. And just looking forward. So
perfect.
Are they on schedule to finish? Didn't they have a hard deadline for finishing up?
Yes, they do. It hasn't changed. It's still June 30. And what happens is we need to be done by April, maybe the end of April at the very latest, because it'll take at least a couple months to clear all the paperwork up, go through the checklist, make sure everything, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. But right now the contractors, this has been a wonderful fall and winter for our contractors. By the end of this week, I believe the new addition on the north end will be completely enclosed and insulated. The roofers are supposed to start this week yet. We're having a little issue with an antenna, but we're working through that. So it won't be long before they'll be able to start piping some heat into there. And then it's just going to be a matter of they'll have the winter to finish it off. So it's going very well. Fall we've had, they got to pour all their cement. They got all the footings and foundations and floors poured. They put up all the walls. They're insulating today. They're insulating the roof before the roofers start. It's going well, going well.
That's good to hear.
Anything else? If there's not, thank you much.
Thanks for a good report, Dennis.
Thank you.
Appreciate hearing the positivity. Hey. We'll now move into commissioner portfolios, and I'll start with Commissioner Hatch.
Mike, anything from sanitation?
Just let you know that the residential truck, the new garbage truck chassis is rolling the streets in town now.
Nice.
Everything was,
Great.
the compactor was put on it, and so that's what you see driving up and down the city streets. That's all I have for sanitation, unless you have questions.
I don't have any. Rob?
So I just want to update the commission that Gate City Bank reached out to us, looking to partner up with the city on a revitalization program that they have. Essentially what it will do is they will offer low interest rate loans to individual homeowners within the city that would want to look at building. As a city, we would get to decide what qualifications there would be specific to what types of projects would be eligible. So it's something we're going to pursue. We've got a little small working group that we've got together. And then I would expect that we'll be coming to the commission in January sometime to seek approval to move forward with that. The application period would be the spring through the fall of next year. So there's no contract or agreements or anything we have to sign into. Other banks would be encouraged and welcome to also offer the same type of financing and program. But I think it's just a win-win.
Is it just for residential or is it for commercial
It'll be
too?
just for residential.
Residential.
That'll be it. Yeah.
Residential owner occupied, and to
New
do,
construction.
So this is going to be a revitalization. So there could be, like, if you're looking to do an addition, maybe put a garage, those are some of the things that we get to decide as far as what will be qualifying. And that's what we're going to look at.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks, Rob.
That's it.
That's it.
Mr. Robbins?
Mike, anything in streets,
Nothing for streets tonight, Commissioner.
engineering?
A few items on the agenda that we can discuss when we get there through the agenda. But that's all I have for engineering.
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Commissioner Pierce?
Still plugging away on the fishing derby. We're getting prizes in. I don't know if you guys noticed driving around today, we got our 2 ice houses that we're giving away, so everything's on track with that. And then just got a couple of small projects that are getting started up, so.
And hope for ice.
Well, we're probably the only ones hoping for cold weather.
The cold weather would be fine, no snow.
Bucket of ice.
Right. So, yeah, maybe we'll be short fishing. I don't know.
I like the weather the way it is.
Right.
That's all we have.
That's all? How about under Commissioner Hamry? Mike?
Nothing for utilities tonight, Mayor.
Okay, perfect. Chief?
Nothing from the police department.
Nothing. Good deal. Wow. Okay. Holy smokes, easy. How about Spencer? You got one?
just working with some of the department heads and supervisors on creating equipment replacement schedule for the commission to review and consider and approve. Aspirations are to have it for you at the next meeting. So a little work to do between now and then, but it's been fun to work with the department heads, learn a little bit more about what their departments all do, their needs for the future, and make sure that we equip them with the things that they need to do the job. Real quick, high level, there's a packet there before you, just a kind of a written summary of what we're trying to do with the Devils Lake Jobs Development Authority, and having the city create one by resolution, appointing the city commission as the board of directors of that Jobs Development Authority, and appointing the Forward Devils Lake Board as the executive committee. I think we've gone over what we currently do, why we're looking to transition to some of this, and if anybody has a question with that, please just ask or interrupt me. Otherwise, just kind of spelling out in writing a few things as far as what the recommendation will be. As far as the kind of the authority and responsibilities of the executive committee, not extensive or complete, but on a high level, recommend on usage and purposes of growth fund dollars, approve applications for city funded and state of North Dakota partner programs, approve the list of bills associated with the administration execution of the funded programs, vet and provide recommendations on relative business before the Jobs Development Authority, and then provided with the authority to expend dollars on due diligence related business. And at the end of the day, we had to pick a number. We said 10,000. These responsibilities, again, are not exhaustive, and we'll further spell out it'll be recommended that the city's mill contribution and sales tax allocations will remain consistent with what we've done in the past with our relationship. Instead of, the mill levy will be for the Jobs Development Authority, and then the sales tax and the dollars from that mill levy can go to Four Devils Lake, as it currently does right now, for their work as the executive committee. At the first meeting, once the JDA is established, there's the JDA will need to appoint a chairperson, vice chairperson, secretary, and treasurer. It will be recommended, however the commission pleases to do this, but it'll just be recommended to keep them consistent with that of the city commission, as far as the mayor being the chairperson and then the vice president of the commission being the vice chairperson. And then we'll need to approve an agreement with Four Devils Lake to assume all the obligations, assets, and liabilities of the Jobs Development Authority that they currently have in their name. And then we'll also probably have to come with an agreement or an MOU with Four Devils Lake as far as them serving as the executive committee and what their expectations, roles, authority is. And then we'll have that at the first meeting. So the resolution will come before you at the December 18th meeting, and then possibly at the January 2nd, the first full meeting of the Jobs Development Authority. Included the draft resolution. Still need to work with Jack on some of the finer details. And then the chapters in North Dakota Century Code, and then the notice that I provided to Four Devils Lake, indicating our intent to terminate our existing agreement. I told Brad it was a little bit of a breakup letter, but it's not. We're just reforming some things a little bit as to how
Just
we're
playing
doing.
with your emotions, Brad.
So would welcome any questions on that. And I know I'm gone granular on it. Talked about it in multiple meetings, but we're really trying to clarify each organization's roles, where the levels of authority and responsibility lie, so that both can work better together than they do today. Not saying that they don't work together, but we can work better.
Okay, anybody have any questions, concerns? Well, we got till next meeting to make a decision. We're not.
Yeah,
nothing
so the
will happen
resolution will be before you for consideration at the next meeting. And then a lot of the actions will need to take place at that first meeting of the Jobs Development Authority, as far as approving agreements with Forward.
But any changes to what's in front of us, can that be sent to us in advance of the next meeting?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, there's nothing else? Okay. That's all you have?
Yeah, that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Jack, do you have anything? I see this, you have a document here for us too, it's about a settlement.
Yep, I can go through that now or later when it comes up on the agenda. Your preference, Spencer.
Oh, I suppose, that's right, we could do that. We'll do it.
That's fine.
Okay.
The only update I have is regarding the LEC property. I think everything looks fine, from our perspective. I haven't seen any response from the county. I think I talked to Bo. There's a couple, there's one grammatical issue in a title opinion that I think he was going to address. So basically, we're just kind of waiting.
Little ground.
For the
just
county,
that
I
holds
imagine
everything
it'll
up.
be addressed tomorrow, and I imagine we'll be able to approve everything at the next meeting. And then from there, it'll be working on the JPA. Joint Powers Agreement.
The last question I got was from Commissioner Frith asking where we were at, and I said, as far as I knew from our last commission meeting, everything was good to go. We got the thumbs up from you.
Mhm.
Said it's back in your ball court.
Yep.
So
So I think they'll probably address that, I imagine, tomorrow in their
Yep.
meeting. I haven't looked at their agenda. But next meeting, I'll put it on the agenda to approve the deeds, and then we'll be set there and get rolling with that.
they did say with the joint powers resolution, there were some questions on things of price if from the city for incarcerations and things of that nature.
Oh.
So they were gonna look into addressing that, seeing, how that could be, changed and everything else, but that's where they were at on that, just to give you a heads up.
Yeah, so, and I can just kind of clarify the issue that needs to be ironed out there is, if someone is arrested within the city on, district court charges, sometimes they are booked into the LEC under the city. And so then the city gets charged for that. And so we just need to make sure we have a process in place to where we're really only charged for the municipal ordinances that we're citing, I believe is how that's supposed to go. So that's kind of the issue
Why would that?
the issue there. And then so how does that happen? Sometimes, so that basically the officers, a lot of them, our officers are pretty good. They know a lot of the codes and laws off the top of their head. Some of them are both a century code violation and a municipal
Oh,
court violation.
that makes sense.
Whenever it's a municipal violation, they'll charge city. If there's multiple charges and one's a lower class B misdemeanor as opposed to an A misdemeanor, and they have A misdemeanors and felonies, they'll be charged the city for the B misdemeanor until that is adjudicated.
Adjudicated and then they.
Then
send
they'll
it.
start charging the county.
And then, the LEC, they had an admin person that was doing some, kind of disposition stuff, things and reports. They've been doing it, I think, since the reporting started. And they informed, the state's attorney and myself that they're no longer, going to do that, so our offices will be responsible for it. We had a little bit of back and forth there, but the main kind of negotiation for the JPA or issue rather on payment is going to be making sure that we properly classify and are charging the right entities. So that's kind of where we sit with that, but we haven't fully got into the JPA issues yet.
Did you want on that board again?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
And then for junk and abandoned vehicle nuisances, if those letters are still going out, we've had done pretty well on responses. Most people respond and have started cleaning up. Some have not. And so right now there's a notice requirement and provisions that we're working through to make sure that everything is done correctly. So that's being worked
Desist.
on. Mhm. And it'll be cleaned up soon.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If you can just come back to my portfolio
I sure can.
right now.
Are you done, Jack?
Yep.
Okay.
It's not about you.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Okay.
have a vehicle I need to surplus, declare surplus.
Well,
The
you can,
transmission went out on it. And
you want to declare it surplus?
Huh?
You want us to?
Yes.
Okay. You're requesting that.
I requested 2016 Ford Expedition be declared surplus.
Okay. Recommendation?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion from Commissioner Hatch to declare a vehicle surplus. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner
Request for vehicle surplus.
Pierce. Okay, any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay,
Sure you
anything
got
else?
nothing else?
I'll figure something out.
We're almost to the end, so no. Okay, nothing else on the agenda or on the commission portfolios. We'll move on. Old business, we have nothing. Nothing under consent. We'll go under new business. Number one item is pay estimate number 3, 2023 curb, gutter, and sidewalk. Mike,
It's the final pay estimate for work completed this year for LSOG Concrete. Total due this estimate, $2,304.47. Recommend approval of the final pay estimate.
I'll make a motion to approve Mike's recommendation.
Commissioner Robbins,
A second.
Commissioner Pierce. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Robbins?
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce?
Aye.
Commissioner Hash?
Aye.
President Mo?
Aye, motion carried. Item number 2, pay estimate number 4, city project 230-201, water main replacement 28-23 and 29-23. Mike,
The pay estimate includes some of the asphalt repair work that was completed on the water main replacement on 2nd Street Northeast, as well as some curb and gutter work. We were hopeful that we would get all of the patches paved with hot bituminous pavement. That didn't happen this year. We did get the area from 10th Avenue going east to 12th Avenue complete. Amount of the pay estimate is $52,056. Recommend approval.
I'll make a motion to approve on Mike's recommendation for the $52,056.
Commissioner Hash,
Second.
second Commissioner Robbins. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Robbins?
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce?
Aye.
Commissioner Hash?
Aye.
President Mo?
Aye, motion carries. Item number 3, preliminary engineering report for street improvement district number 79-24.
Included within your packet is the preliminary engineering report for 17th Street Southeast, 16th Street Southeast, 8th Avenue Southeast, and 10th Avenue Southeast. So basically, the gravel sections of roadway that exist in the Stromquist petition, on portions of those roadways, we're looking at putting hard surfacing on. Some locations will receive full curb and gutter and be a full urban section. There's other areas specifically on 8th Avenue, as well as portions of 17th Street, which will be a rural section, no curb and gutter. And so we're working on putting those plans together. I'll draw the commission's attention to a public input meeting that's planned for December 12th, which I believe is a week from tomorrow. So next Tuesday up at City Hall from 5 to 7 p.m. We're having a public input meeting. People that are interested, residents in that area can come learn about the project. It'll be in an open house type format, so people can come provide any concerns that they have, as well as gather information for the project. It's an open house format, so you don't have to worry about a lot of public speaking or anything like that. It would be more of an
It
information.
seems like
gathering.
everybody out there is all in favor of it. Have you got anybody that's voiced kind of concerns?
No, we haven't received any, but when people start finding out special assessments, that's when we
That makes a
typically
difference, yeah.
would have some people that are concerned. With the special assessment aspect in the preliminary engineering report, the project costs, the total project costs, we're looking at near $3.5 million, of which about $3 million will be associated with the construction costs. So you have a $3.5 million project, and typically with our standard city policy, you'd be looking at special assessing 75% of that, and the city would cover 25%. And that's why we couldn't complete that project for a long, long time. We worked to put together a variety of funding mechanisms to help push some of those special assessments a lot lower. And so with that $3.5 million project costs, we're working on using some federal aid money through our urban road program. We're looking at using some tax increment finance funds, as well as some potential infrastructure money through sales tax, as well as special assessments. So of the $3.5 million project cost, right now it's looking like about $500,000 will be special assessed to benefit the properties within the district,
That's pretty good.
rather than $2.5 million. That would
That's
be
huge.
That's huge.
So we're hopeful, the way the funding package is laid out, that it'll be well received by the benefited properties. But there is going to be some amount of special assessments. And in that particular area, there's some very large lots. If you have a very large lot and you have a lot of frontage, that typically lends itself to a larger special assessment than your neighbor who may not have a lot of frontage and may not have a very large lot. And there you have a big variety in that particular area. Engineering department right now is working on putting together the spreadsheets for developing the special assessment and the probable assessments. So with the public input meeting, we would have probable assessments as well going out to the benefit of properties. So the residents in that area will be well aware of what their potential assessment, an estimate for their potential assessment, what that will be. And they'll have a chance to, agree with the project or potentially even protest the project if they don't want to proceed with hard surfacing. I can't imagine that'll be the case, but we'll see what happens once those special assessments go out. With that, is there any questions on the preliminary engineering report?
Do we need to take any action? We need to approve it?
Yeah, so on the next agenda item, it should say the resolution approving the
Okay.
preliminary report. So you're approving the preliminary report, and then you're directing us to create the, prepare the plans and the specifications for the project.
Okay. So is there a motion
I
to
make a motion to approve the preliminary
preliminary report?
report and order preparation of staff
Okay.
plans and specifications.
Okay, Commissioner Pierce,
Second.
Commissioner Robbins.
Say that.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now we're going to item number 4, the resolution preparing preliminary report and directing preparation of plans and specifications for street improvement district number 79-24, which encompasses 17th Street Southeast, 16th Street Southeast, 8th Avenue Southeast, 10th Avenue Southeast.
That's what we just
That's
went
what
over.
we
there.
just did.
That's what
Yeah.
we just approved.
Yeah. Yeah, we have
Now
to,
this is
we have
item
to
four
approve.
though, right? Robert, right now.
we're on item number 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
It
I'm
used to be
sorry.
included as one item on the agenda. Now it's 2 items. One, the commission has
I
the
got
preliminary
it. Okay,
engineering report
bulked
to
up.
review
My
and
apologies
discuss.
there.
The next item was the approval of that preliminary
Yeah.
report and directing preparation of the plans and specs. Commissioner Pierce, you already made the motion. I think that already
Yeah.
has been passed.
We're good. Item number 5, resolution creating street improvement district 80-24 for the west side.
I would draw the commission's attention to the map that's included. I know some commissioners like to read meets and bounds descriptions, but if you want to get beyond the meets and bounds description and the legal description, if you look at the map that's included, basically for the 14th, or for the street improvement district on the west side, we're looking at improving all the roadways within the west side that are south of 14th Street Northwest and west of College Drive. And so that the benefit of properties would include all the properties within that area, and that's what's defined as the district.
Is that going to add more specials on top of some of those that already had the water main replacement? Is that going to go above what they've already had?
That is correct. So there's 2 different districts. There was a water main improvement
Yeah.
district, and now this will be a street improvement district. Some of the roadways over in the
Oh,
west
yeah.
side,
Mhm.
you don't have to drive very far to find, some tough situations in there. Those roadways haven't seen a lot of improvement in decades. And so typically we'd like to wait 3 years to improve the roadways after a water main replacement. But in this particular case, there's some section of the roadway over there that are just taking so much maintenance time, are in such bad condition that we're looking at expediting the street improvement portion of that project.
Are they going to with it being another special assessment, are they going to, the public in those areas, are they going to be able to come and voice their opinion on that as well?
It is a street improvement district. In this particular case, it's not a health and safety, it is street improvement. So if a majority of the area within the district protests the project after they receive their probable assessment, we could use those funds somewhere else and improve roadways elsewhere in the city. We haven't seen that to be the case in a few years ago when the city commission changed policy, and rather than special assessing 75% of a project for existing infrastructure. So the concept is once you have a roadway that's been constructed according to city standards. You have a water main that's been installed according to standards. Once that's been constructed, you bought into the system, so to speak. So somebody bought that infrastructure originally. And now when we're simply maintaining it or improving it, the city's paying 75% of that improvement cost. So we paid 75% for the water main replacement. And now we'd be looking at doing the street improvement. And with that same process, we would be looking at that street improvement cost. 75% will be funded through, for the most part, it'd be sales tax revenues to cover the vast majority of the expense. And we're only special assessing 25%. Since we've been doing that, we haven't had any protests on projects. You know, we have some, maybe a conversation about the methodology, about the assessment, but as far as the overall assessment costs.
Well, my concern was they just got hit with a big assessment on water line in some of the areas, and then now we're sending them another one for the streets. So, you know, I mean, they may be all in favor of it, but
I see that being,
that could
an
be
issue.
controversial.
I mean, I understand he's done it, I'm
Yeah.
just saying that's gonna be.
It could pose, we're just, it
It's this,
could be addressed.
I would direct the commission. It's the same process that we use, Commissioner Pierce, in your area.
Mhm.
You had a water main replaced. You had a water main that had many, many breaks on it. That water main was replaced. We came back a couple of years later and completed the surfacing.
Mhm.
Typically, the special assessments go 15-year spread.
Yep.
So with that, based on the 15-year spread, that area of town we completed the same way. The area north and east of City Hall, very poor water mains along 8th Street Northeast. In that area, we replaced the water mains. We came back and improved the roadways. The residents in that area, is very little protest. I would expect that'll be the case on the west side as well. But if the majority of the area does not want to see the improvement completed, then we'll just either scale it back or not complete the improvement.
Sure.
I just want to make sure a lot of people that I've talked to about stuff like I've been asking me about these special assessments that have been going on, is let them know that they have the right to say, hey, you know, I protest this. It's not just the bill showing up in there. This is it. You're taking it no matter what. I just want to make sure that they understand they have the right to.
That's what this is.
Yeah, I know.
And they do, it is a
Yep.
benefit to them to take it
Oh,
because of
yep.
the cost share. I mean,
Yep.
we're working hard to help offset the costs, but
And I want to make it very clear, we send a letter. So with a street improvement project, we send out probable assessments.
right.
So a letter is sent to the property owners in that area that are receiving a special assessment or potential special assessment. And it tells them, this is the total project cost. This is what we estimate your assessment to be. This is what the upfront cost would be. And this is what the special assessment would be on a yearly basis based on a 15-year payback period and whatever percent interest rate when we work out with auditing. So they have that and it's all spelled out. And if they have any concerns, they let us know and then we would tally any protests. Yeah. And one of our goals with infrastructure improvements is not, we want to improve the area and we want to improve the neighborhoods, but we want them to want it improved.
Mhm.
Right. And so we're not, if funds aren't used in that area, we have other areas that will expedite and will complete street improvement in another area of the city. So we have.
I think most people down there want some
I would think
improvements.
so.
Yeah.
I do believe that too, but,
Thanks, Mike.
so we need to approve this resolution.
Creating the district.
Yep.
You're correct, Mayor.
So what is the wishes of the
I'll make a
commission?
motion to approve item number 5, resolution creating street improvement district 80-24.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Robbins,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Pierce. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 6, approve contracts for College Drive and Highway 19 project. Mike?
There's 2 different contracts included with your new packet. The contracts are essentially the same. They're 2 different contracts because one deals with Highway 19 between Highway 2 and Highway 20, which is a section of roadway that goes by Roosevelt Park. And the other is College Drive or Highway 20 through town from Highway 2 to the north end of the city. We're looking at completing some improvements on 19. For the most part, on Highway 19, it's going to be surface improvements with some of the roadway. And then on Highway 20, we're looking at a pedestrian or a signal crossing, a pedestrian crossing, and some roadway surface improvements. Recommend approval of the agreements. As spelled out in the agreements, if you look at the appendix talks about the potential city costs associated with the total project. And with the preliminary engineering, we're looking at.
I don't want you to read it too easy.
Fine print.
Fine print.
There's a zoom that you see me zooming too. Within the packet, there is in the appendix is like the funding breakdown. Basically, we're looking at 10% city cost. We'll complete the preliminary engineering work, see if there's anything crazy going on. And then if we proceed with the project, you can see what the cost split is based on the current estimate. Recommend approval.
Okay, we have a recommendation.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Robbins,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Hatch. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 7, letter of credit for the Devils Lake Regional Airport. Spencer.
Mayor Mo, members of the commission, just to piggyback off of Dennis's update that he provided and some of the projects that they're working out there. Some of this predates me, so if some of you have information that isn't communicated, I'd be enlightened to hear it. But from my understanding and from talking with Dennis and Scott there at the airport, with this terminal expansion and with the apron and taxiway project, there were a lot of high dollar bills that needed to be paid, which would then be reimbursed by the federal government. However, the airport needed the resources to pay the bill up front. And it's my understanding that with the past administration, there was kind of an understanding that they could have a line of credit from the city for $2 million net of the assets that they currently hold with the city for upfront payment of those projects, and then awaiting the reimbursement. Currently, as it sits, because we've been waiting for these reimbursements, just backtrack. And that was at a time when money wasn't worth anything, really. $2 million that were very low interest rates. And now we're in a totally different world. And so throughout this process and waiting for the reimbursements, they're currently at a $3.07 million negative cash deposit with the city. If you take the resources that they have in their operations minus what we have outlaid to the FAA, it's at 3.7 million. Recently, the city commission or the airport authority and then the commission approved list of bills. There was 1.7 million to Strata. After that commission meeting, I took the liberty, I kind of stuck it in a drawer, wanted to bring it to the commission because in talking with the airport, there are $3.3 million in FAA reimbursements that are floating out there. And as you heard Dennis say, there's no guarantee that it will come by January 1. And so with this, there is a real opportunity cost to the city right now. It's, it doesn't mean that we don't want to be good partners with the airport, but there's also what is in the best interest of the city as well. And so heading into the new year with the expectation that if we pay this 1.7 million to Strata and plus $50,000 to Mead and Hunt for some of the consultant work they're doing on these projects, that we're looking at a potential, negative $4.8 million cash balance towards our overall deposit with Bremer and on our financial statements that are all receivable from the FAA and the U.S. Treasury Department. And so heading into the new year, before releasing these 1.7 million to Strata, bringing before you a letter of credit to the airport for $5 million net of the financial resources they have incorporated into the city's deposit. It's recommended that due to the fact that this is not the airport's issue, this is the this is a bureaucracy issue, as I said earlier, that the city grant them this letter of credit, we pay the bills, and then upon January, if we are not reimbursed by the FAA, we need to start enacting some fees or interest on this letter of credit. I reached out to Bremer to see what a letter of credit would look like, and we're looking at anywhere from 6 to 8% interest, which doesn't do anyone any good, the airport or us right now. So again, this was an arrangement that predated the current interest rate environment we had. We're running into some bureaucracy back and forth. There's a real opportunity cost to the city right now, and that's why it's coming before you, before we send this out, especially as we head into the new year. And then the recommendation is to reassess in January.
We don't understand that. Yeah.
Commissioner Hash is the airport authority
Yep.
representative. I've talked to the chairman, and I've talked to Scott, and I think they understand the circumstances and the situation, but at some point, what is in the
It's
interest
a
of the
unique
city?
situation, given the fact that they're getting all this money coming for this remodel, and it's kind of,
And it just comes slow.
and they don't pay.
It's government.
And there was that original 2 million net of assets that the airport has, and it's always been 1 week away. The reimbursements have been, and it's gotten to the point where there's 1.3, and now there's $2 million that we're still waiting on. So
They have to understand that's a significant amount that they need to.
And I just don't trust that the federal government will give them that money that they've promised. We've had it out of camp where we were promised when they were building the RTI. And we were guaranteed money from the federal government to finish the entire thing, and then mid-project.
That wouldn't be good right now.
So I mean, that's what would be my concern when you're working with the federal government at any time.
I don't see that happening. I really don't, but we can get our legislators involved if necessary, but. So what, basically it's about a $20,000 loss to us? Is that what?
I mean, if you're looking at the 4.8 million, every month that we carry this obligation for the airport, it's a $20,000 opportunity cost.
Just
And so that's why it's coming before you, because at the time there wasn't a strong
No.
opportunity cost. There's
Yeah.
real.
When we got-
Like you say, the money
When you
wasn't
got
as
0.25%.
valuable.
Right.
But yeah.
And so I really want to bring it to the commission. If you guys I mean, there's only bad options, right? But if you guys see the situation, approve the letter of credit. we have
I
something
think the chief
documented.
said they didn't need that new patrol car that we could probably do away with.
Yeah, you guys can do whatever you want.
But I didn't read it 100%, but did you have a dollar amount in your suggestion?
I said 5 million net of the assets incorporated
Okay,
with.
but I mean, as far as the fee or the interest, did you suggest?
Well,
Is that negotiable?
at 4.8, if you take that times 5%, that's, and divided by 12, that's 20 grand a month.
Okay, that's what you're suggesting. Okay.
At that point, it come January, if by that first meeting in January we don't have it, we'll have to have a conversation.
Well, let's
But-
hope
but I
that all
think-
gets worked out. Maybe we're talking about nothing here.
So, again, the recommendation is to approve that, the line of credit.
We have a recommendation. What is the wishes of the city commission?
You see anything, I don't even know if I want to ask Jack, type of thing, but I mean, you see anything, it's all valid and it makes sense, correct? And you don't see.
Yeah, it's basically the funds were pledged, weren't they? From the federal government.
Yeah, they've been reimbursing, and it has to do, they submitted their application, they sent it back to them saying you got to revise a few things. Then someone goes on vacation for a week, and it's just,
I think
We've
they've
gotten
been
money back.
allocated.
We
You've
just-
been allocated.
Yeah, we've
the
gotten money back.
We've gotten
Yeah.
money back from
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
It just comes at,
So it's just
small.
it's really just
Yeah.
a process.
It could cost us money because it's not coming fast enough
Right,
pace.
right. The federal government's gonna cost us money.
Yes, if they don't,
Mhm.
maybe somebody's got to make a phone call that means something.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the line of credit letter be extended to the airport authority.
Okay, Commissioner Robbins.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Hatch. Any further discussion?
I would just reiterate, the city does not have a cash problem. It's just the opportunity cost.
No.
Strictly want to
It
make
could-
that absolutely clear.
Where was the benefit of our funding?
So,
Okay,
yeah, in essence, really, it might cost the city a little bit more for the remodels with the with the airport, but the overall, and what they're doing, but the overall gains.
Mhm.
Right.
Right. If the check shows up tomorrow, it's
Yes.
no
But
issue.
Legally speaking, you
Yep.
guys have the discretion and authority to do it.
Any further discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Commissioner Robbins?
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce?
Aye.
Commissioner Hash?
Aye.
President Mo?
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, and the last item here on number 8, the PFAS settlement. Okay, Jack, I guess, is that done? I think you're handling it?
Yes.
Has to-
So this litigation predates me, but basically, there was, I'm not gonna regurgitate my letter to you guys. I think everyone can read it. So I'll just
Summarize.
Summarize for you. There's basically a class action lawsuit against 3M and DuPont involving contaminated water supplies of cities and municipalities. Okay, and so basically, cities, municipalities, districts all over the country were involved as claimants in this. And the city did testing on our water supply. And what they tested for were the PFAS chemicals, and that stands for per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. I don't know how that's close I can get on the pronunciation.
I was hoping someone could say it better than I was trying to say it.
Yeah, I didn't rehearse it enough. There's 18 chemicals it tests for. We had 0 of them, so it doesn't look like we're impacted by it. So we have 2 options with this litigation. We're involved in it. So it's settled, but now it's kind of a process on settlement distribution and claims. So we can either opt out and get out of the settlement expressly, or we can kind of just sit by, do nothing, and then we won't be asserting any claims unless we do further testing and down the road find some. And then basically, if we sit and do nothing, then we won't get any settlement payout, but it has the same effective outcome as if we expressly asked to be released from the litigation. It's just that we asked to be released and excluded, we'd have more paperwork to do. So I would recommend that we stay in the settlement litigation and just participate in the claims process until it either is over or until we do further testing. Maybe we'll have a claim to bring you later time. But
So just to follow up on the recommendation, there was a 2020 test for PFAS of our water supply. No evidence of the chemical was found. And so, again, the claims process comes unless there is a test that would communicate that those chemicals have been or are in our water supply. We would not be submitting any claims. But if it did register, we would bring that before the commission to file the claim with them. And there's a bunch of deadlines, as you can see, or as you can see in the packet on the email. So that was sent out. So again, the recommendation is to stay in the settlement and participate in the claims process as necessary from the city standpoint.
I make a motion to remain in the claims settlement claims process.
I'll
Commissioner
second.
Pierce, Commissioner Haas, second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carried. Citizen comment. Nobody here to do that. Nothing under informational items. Do I have a motion to approve payment of bills?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Commissioner Robbins.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Pierce.
Sorry, I was just reading over something real quick there.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Robbins?
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce?
Aye.
Commissioner Hash?
Aye.
President Mo?
Aye. Motion carried. Any other business to come before the commission? If not, meeting adjourned.